Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience in the South, our online audience tuning in thanks to Entertainment Radio, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music Podcasts. We're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, as we are saying goodbye to 2020 and welcoming in a new year, I'm so excited to welcome back my friend, Shari Alyse. You guys know her, not only, of course, for her work as a joy magnet, but also the best-selling author of Love Yourself Happy. And she also is the creator and executive producer of a brand new show that I'm so excited to be a part of called Heart to Heart. It's going to be premiering on January the 6th. I want to talk to Shari about all of that, what the year 2020 was like for her, and, of course, what she's excited about when it comes to the new endeavor. Shari Alyse, welcome back to Conversations Live.
Hi, Cyrus. Thank you so much for having me here. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. So excited. And I have to say, too, before we get into that, and you know I do this all the time, I am so proud of you and all that you have done in the time that we've known each other. And it's been so great to be able to watch you kind of thrive. And I'm so excited to be a part of Heart to Heart. We're going to get into that. But before we do that, let's talk about the year that's been 2020. What was that year like for you, Shari, to kind of be able to navigate through and to learn from?
Ooh, that's a biggie. 2020. Well, because as soon as you said that, I got like this whoosh over me because there's been so many emotions, like all of us have felt this year, and it's been challenging. It's been freeing. It's been eye-opening. It's been all of it. For me personally, I've had a year of true release and surrender in so many different areas of my life. I walked away earlier this year from a company that I started up 7 years ago, right at the start of the year. So before even the pandemic came in, I had a real honest and truthful conversation with myself, and I knew that this was something that I could not do anymore. And so I walked away from something that was really hard to do, and I had to find myself again and what it was that I was truly here to do and connect with myself. And then comes along the pandemic, and it was like, okay, well, now you really have a lot of time to truly connect with yourself.
Right. Well, Shari, I have to say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, it's interesting hearing you say that because for some of us looking at you, it didn't seem as though you skipped a beat. You started a new show, Everyday Heroes, that I had an opportunity to be a part of, and you seemed like you just kept going, but really allowing us to see you kind of going through the journey of being yourself. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but was that part of what you planned to do, or was it just so happen that you allowed us to see you kind of go through the evolution?
I think it was definitely you just going through the evolution with me.
Okay.
One thing that, in the way that I've always been, though, is, as you know, super transparent, sharing the journey. I shared about walking. I always knew in my heart that I wanted to create shows, that I wanted to be a part of it, that I wanted to be in people's hearts. From the time I was a little girl, I sat in movie theaters every weekend and watched television. So I was a big TV and movie buff. And the one thing that brought to me was comfort and entertainment and inspiration. And I always remember just thinking, I want to do that for others. So it became a natural thing to want to be in front of the camera and to be able to create that kind of feeling for others. So I always knew that I was going to do shows. So when Everyday Heroes came about, or The Joy Spot, or everything else that I was doing, that's always been a natural evolution for myself. I don't always know what's going to come from it. I kind of just show up and I allow inspiration to come through me.
Yeah. The thing that about you that also I've gotten to know and love about you as a friend that I think people have seen this year and will see going into 2021, Shari, with the new show Heart to Heart, is your ability to connect. I have to say I was very surprised by some of what you shared, only because I guess it was a side of you that I was not aware of. And I'm talking about what you kind of shared, especially when we saw a lot of the officer-involved shootings this year. And it seemed like you really took us on a very raw part of your journey when it came to self-reflection. Talk to us about that and what that was like for you now to look back on in this year, that aspect of you and your sharing.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. So emotions just came up because with the shooting of the murder of George Floyd and all of that, it awoke something in me that for many years, as I've shared on your show before, I dealt with childhood trauma. And I've spent my lifetime, really learning to heal from that trauma. And what happened this year and really sitting with myself and shedding more layers of trauma, I was finally able to make room for others. And what that felt like for me was being able to feel the pain and be in the skin people who aren't always treated just. And so when I saw that, something just awoke in me and my voice was found. I stopped worrying about what other people were going to think of me or if they were going to be angry at me or they thought that I was crazy or whatever. And I just wanted to lend my voice and my heart to a movement that I know needed it and still needs it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I didn't mean to catch you off guard, but it is a part of 2020, so I felt like it was a necessary thing to ask you. And I'm sure I'm going to bring it up on Heart to Heart, too. So I'll
be prepared now, though. I'll be prepared.
Well, and let me say this, and then we're going to talk about the idea for Heart to Heart. When I was watching it, because you and I, it's so funny it is I'm black, and I know I'm black.
What?
But I tell people, I know, right? It's a surprising development for a lot of people. But I have to say, my experience, even in 2020, has never had anything to do with my race. And I think even though I saw what was happening, and we just had the case of Andre Hill I was reporting on in my news program the week we're having this conversation, I know these things happen, and I've said it to you before, even on your show, Everyday Heroes. I can empathize. It is an experience I'm not familiar with, and so I cannot say I fully understand it. But I think it is something that is undeniable. So I was curious about you as you talked about, and one thing I was concerned about, and I shared with you. And again, this is why I'm so glad that we have the relationship we have. That I worried about some of my white friends having this feeling of guilt that I felt like, and then again, this is my saying this, I felt like was somewhat misplaced because I thought, well, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that these things are happening, but it is a conversation to be had. So I'm curious about that because you went out there. I mean, you were literally in the streets. You, again, were taking us along for that journey. Talk to us about that, Shari, and your response to that and how that kind of fit into who you are as someone who is about joy. What was that part of the journey like for you this year?
Well, I do have to say that was one thing that most people were surprised about because most people are used to just seeing me with the joy and sharing all of it, and then to see this real and raw part of me, even for myself, felt new, felt like somebody had taken over my own body. I don't know another way to say that. But, when we talk about guilt, what I uncovered for myself is that I understood that I wasn't fully responsible for the history and the things that have happened, but I can take responsibility for the current moment and not being a voice and a part of helping to change laws or, to help transform the system, to help get rid of, certain laws and things that affect Black community, Indigenous community, that it isn't just about me. And so I never really felt, people perceived it as guilt. I didn't feel that I was, at the core responsible for it. But once you become aware of things that are happening and then you turn your back on it, that's what I think is the problem. And I totally get what you're saying about it hasn't been your experience, and it hasn't been some others, but when a lot of people are saying it's theirs, who am I, who isn't sitting in that position, to turn and go, no, that's not really happening. I believe a lot of us need to really listen and hear and, not turn our backs on that.
It's a really good point, and I think conversations like this are not the easiest, but I think they are necessary, which is why I'm so glad that 2021 is bringing you with this new platform. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Excited to welcome back my friend, Shari Alyse, to the program. She's a best-selling author of Love Yourself Happy. She's also the creator and executive producer of a brand new show premiering on January 6th called Heart to Heart. So, Shari, this is a big thing. You've been really excited about this, and it's been coming out in our conversations. I know you put a lot of work into this. Talk to our audience about Heart to Heart and how it came about.
So first I have to just be honest and say, as soon as you said it, I raised my arms in the air because I'm so excited about this. So excited about this because it came about literally what we were just talking about in 2020, that there was so much that was uprooted in society, especially here in the United States, people's pain, people's anger, people's trauma. There was so much that was brought to the surface. And what I knew instinctually is that so many of us aren't being honest with ourselves or with each other, having truthful conversations. And when I started having that conversation with myself and with others about racism, it was really hard and it was really uncomfortable. But I did, and there was healing involved in that. And so I knew that these conversations had to happen. And I also knew that, television presents a lot of what the producers or the creators think that people want to hear. And I think it's important that we start talking about what it is that the audience really wants to hear. And so Heart to Heart came about because I think that we need to start having conversations that heal and that enlighten and that uplift and inspire.
Yeah. And I think the panel that you've been able to assemble here, and again, as I mentioned, excited to be one of the co-hosts of this with Rich Oseguera, also my friend Patrice Tanaka, an amazing group of individuals. For those who are joining us through Entertainment Radio, all this week you guys will be hearing from these different individuals, so definitely make sure you guys are looking forward to that. What has that been like for you to kind of to assemble this? Because you and I had conversations, Shari, about this, and, what kept coming up in my mind was, when I think about us, is kind of like, when I explained it to people, a type of The View or Talk, but with really the audience as the co-host of this whole thing, because they're the ones kind of really bringing their input into this. What has that been like for you to be able to share and to see the response to it?
It's so exciting. I've always done things on my own, just like you have. It's always been like the solo show. While I had my company with my business partner, it was different. It wasn't this creative side. So for me, I've been trying to find my way and what feels right, and I've always known that I just love talking to people. So being able to bring together the four of us, along with Tracy Allen, our producer, is so exciting for me because I think collaboration, connection, I think having diverse voices, that was really important to me. All of us come from not only different backgrounds ethnically, racially, but just different life experiences. Yeah. And so, bringing together all of us and being able to have conversations with, I love this, by the way, and I'm going to steal it, the co-host, the audience being the co-host, I think that really engages everybody involved. So people are excited about it. I'm excited about it. And even if nobody else was, my excitement about this is enough.
Well, look, I think that is a big thing. Well, I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this. This is why I wanted to invite all of you to the Conversations platform and our different outlets around the country to be able to talk about this, because I definitely want them to be a part of it. I have to say to my audience, Shari, something I said to you, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I think it is so important. I'm all about support, but I'm also about giving credit where credit is due. And as I've talked to people about, this particular platform, Heart to Heart, I've made it very clear, and I've said it to Shari herself, she's probably rolling her eyes right now, is that this was Shari's baby. I'm excited to be a part of it, to be a co-executive producer with her, to be a co-host. But I want people to know this was hers. And the reason why that's so important for me, Shari, is because, as I said to you, because I think people deserve the credit for their gift. And so many times other people take other people's gifts and make it their own. Shari had this idea. She and I have been wanting to work together for a while. Shari, I think you'll agree. And we couldn't find the right thing, per se, that worked. But as soon as she told me about this, I said yes. So, Shari, were you surprised I said yes?
Oh, my God, my jaw was on the floor. I literally listened to the message like 3 times. Did he just say yes? Did he just say yes? I'm first. I want to thank you, of course, for you talking about it being my baby, but I couldn't do it without you, because I always knew that there was something we were going to work on together. And as you just mentioned, I brought you ideas, and I think that this is the perfect thing, not only for us, but for the world right now. So I was absolutely shocked and so grateful.
Well, I have to say, and you and I have had some side conversations, I think my audience will see a different side of me on Heart to Heart. And I say that because I've always made the guest the star of conversations. But now with Heart to Heart, it really is what Cyrus thinks and what Cyrus feels, which my audience don't hear. So if you guys really want to get to know the real, you guys have to tune in to Heart, because I'm sure there will be times. And what I love about this group, and I can already tell in the one time we've gotten together at the time of this conversation, Shari, is that I think we're going to be those type of people who can agree to disagree and still be okay afterwards, and that to me is what life is about. Is that what you hope?
I absolutely hope so, because things, a lot of us, from what I know about each of us, we have very similar viewpoints, but we also have differing ones. But I do believe what you said, that we respect each other enough already. I could feel it, that we will be able to have these conversations. And that's what I hope for our viewers and for the world, that people can have conversations, disagree with each other, but still respect and honor one another. Yeah.
And that's one of the big things that I loved about what Shari has envisioned for Heart to Heart, is that, which is why it's called you guys, the audience, as the co-host, because she wants your feedback. She wants your questions. You guys will be driving the conversation a lot of the time. And I think that's going to be so cool for them to be a part of this. And you mentioned Tracy Allen, someone who I knew only briefly. She had appeared on Conversations Live once before. We kind of reconnected through you. Shari, and I think, she adds such a great dimension to this because of what she's able to do with video stuff. You know me, I just am like, whatever. But, I mean, she has such a passion for that, and I think that is so good to have her. So, again, I mentioned it here, Shari, so the audience can begin to see Heart to Heart on January the 6th. Talk them through how they can join us and what time it'll be airing.
Absolutely. So Heart to Heart is going to stream live on our Facebook page, our fan page, which is Heart to Heart Show. You can find that at facebook.com/Heart to Heart Show, or they can join us on YouTube. It's a long link right now, so it's best to just go to hearttoheartshow.com, which leads you to the Facebook page right now, and that'll be able to get you to watch the show. But to be able to really add to the conversation, we really want you to email us and let us know the show topic that you would like us to discuss. What's important to you? Do you have a question? Do you have an idea? And that they can email us at hearttalkshow@gmail.com. hearttohearttalkshow@gmail.com. That's the best way to be able to get what's important to you to have us discuss. And then, of course, during the show, that's what's going to be really fun, because we're going to be engaging directly with you, asking you questions, looking for your feedback, posting all the stuff that you're saying right along with us. You'll be our 5th co-host.
Yeah. What a great thing. And for those who are joining us via the online platforms, we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys to make it easy for you guys to be able to get to. But again, Heart to Heart premiering on January the 6th. So excited about being a part of this and you all being a part of it with us. It's going to be a great way to start off 2021 as we're kind of looking at life looking at perspective, and I think really looking at ourselves. And I think that's what is a big part of Shari's platform. Again, everyone, Shari Alyse has been our guest, the best-selling author of Love Yourself Happy and the creator and executive producer of Heart to Heart. So, Shari, how can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with the journey with you?
Whoa, you got a lot of places to follow me, so put your running shoes on. But you can actually find all my information on my personal website, which is ShariAlyse.com. I'm super active on Facebook, which is at Sharing with Shari, but you can find all my social media links directly on my website.
All right, ShariAlyse.com. Shari, congratulations to you again. So excited for you, for all of us being a part of this journey, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you so much. And to use your words, I'm so excited for us.
Thank you. I could not agree more. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.